Well, hey everyone, welcome to the show. Thanks for listening here towards the end of the year. I know we're getting really close to Christmas, just a couple of days away. And so wherever you may be at, whether you're driving somewhere, flying somewhere, maybe you're just getting to stay home for Christmas. How great is that? I get to, in the next couple of days here after this episode launches out, make the first ever flight on Christmas Day that I've ever had. Me and my family flying out to the great state of Pennsylvania to spend some time with the family up there. And I've never flown on Christmas Day. So I have zero understanding or zero expectations, but the only thing that I can guess is that the airport on Christmas Day is either the most calm place in the world or it's just chaotic. I can't imagine that there's really anything in between that. I feel like I just reference like Home Alone, you know? And I know not all movies are real, but maybe that's true. Like, because the airport that they were leaving out of, and that was Chicago, right? I think that's where that launched out of. If you know where that movie was based out of, I think it's Chicago. Let me know. But yeah, we'll be flying out of Tampa, which we're really excited about. Excited to see some family. And I'm sure you are too, wherever you are. So grateful that you're listening. Gonna kind of go over some essentially like housekeeping stuff as we kind of get close to the end of the year with the show. But first, I wanted to go over something a little fun. I asked this question a couple of weeks ago on the show, on the social media rather, which if you're not following us on social media, you should really do that. It is at One More Minute Podcast on Instagram. Same thing on TikTok. Maybe I need to get into some of the other social medias. Not really big on X. I used to have Twitter, and I just didn't think of enough stuff to say, so I kind of got rid of it. But make sure you're following us on social media. That's where we're posting about who's coming on the show, some updates and things like that. But I asked this question on social media the other day of what is your favorite, most unique, maybe cringy, maybe it's silly, whatever the case is, holiday tradition, experience, whatever it is. And I'm not going to go through all of them. I want to make this a quicker show for you today, wherever you're at. But a couple of them that came through seem to stick with me. And one of them is, I don't know this as a Lakelander, maybe you do as listening, but the Ariana Village Christmas light drive-through. I'm not sure what that is, but I think that sounds like probably a lot of those drive-throughs in every place, right? I've been to one in Colorado before. There's one where I grew up. That's insane, called Fantasy and Lights. It's up in Callaway Gardens, up in Georgia. And I think it's like a couple of miles of just drive-through lights and like music and stuff like that. It's really cool. But I'm guessing that's what that is. Those are always really nice, right? Especially if they're done right, like to go through, see the lights, have the music along with it. I feel like that's always a really fun one. So that's a good tradition. That's more fun. Here's another one. The Christmas pickle. I have zero idea what a Christmas pickle is. I think that my only guess is that it's probably something like the Elf on the Shelf. If you submitted this and you're listening, let us know. I think you can do that in like comments in Spotify now. Maybe you can do that in Apple Podcasts. I'm not sure. I feel like Spotify is probably the bigger place for people who are listening to podcasts, but don't get upset with me if you're listening on Apple Podcasts. But let me know in the comments what the Christmas pickle is. If it's something like Elf on a Shelf, we haven't started that with my kids yet, but I think we're going too soon. It just feels like a big commitment. You know, I'm not the most, I don't have the greatest memory. I don't know how I was trying to say that there, but I don't have the greatest memory. And I feel like I would just forget every time to do something more unique with the elf. Maybe just throw him across the room, say he's hiding for the day. But if the Christmas pickle's anything like that, let me know. I'm not sure. Another one, this from a very non-Mexican family, great family, but they say we cook Mexican food, including flan, every Christmas. Started 14 years ago before kids. There's actually another one like this that says Chinese food for Christmas Eve dinner. Here's something I'll be honest about on the show. I don't know why I've never heard of Mexican food, but I know Chinese food is kind of like a big deal, right? On Christmas. I don't know why. I actually, and just being 100% honest, I don't know if it's because do Chinese people just stay, do Chinese restaurants just stay open? Do they celebrate Christmas? I legitimately have no clue. And that's on me. Please let me know why that is such a big deal. We used to get sushi every Christmas Eve with family, and that was a lot of fun. But I never stopped and asked myself, why is this place open on a holiday? Another thing that me and my wife used to do before kids, that we switched up after kids, was we always just found ourselves driving on Christmas Eve, right? Like we still are like a heavy part of our church here in town. And it always just kind of come down to where there was a service on Christmas Eve, and then we would hit the road and drive to family. So we do like a long trip, whether it was driving to Pennsylvania or driving to Georgia or whatever, right? And so we just always did McDonald's. And at some point, McDonald's became a like tradition, you know? Sorry, I'm gonna take a sip of my Celsius here. Getting very sidetracked here. Got a BOGO for Celsius on the way out here. And dude, I cannot resist a good BOGO, dude. I will get like sauteed raccoon if it's on BOGO. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, we were driving up, and what was that? McDonald's. There we go. We were getting McDonald's every Christmas Eve. And, you know, that just doesn't set well with you the older you get, right? Like, I'm getting older. I'm starting to realize like the old thing that I'm going through right now is I just switched brands of running shoes. And I feel like in my 20s or in my teens, I could have just thrown on any pair of shoes. Like I could have thrown on some Converse and went for a 5-mile run, you know? But now I change shoes and go for a mile run, and my back is thrown out for a week. So pray for me. I'm coming through it. I think I'll get better. But no running for me in a little bit. Anyways, we tried McDonald's for a while, and now we're just sticking to the classic Christmas food. If anything, McDonald's would be the only one, right? Like, there's only a few good like fast food chains out there that you could do on Christmas Eve before it starts to get pretty bad, right? I'm not going to no Arby's on Christmas, getting that rubbery roast beef. You know, I want the real stuff. Anyways, another one is this. Let's see, coming through here. Oh, actually, this is the one that I wanted to tell you guys. This is something because my sister commented this, and I almost forgot this story of one of the craziest, unique traditions that my family started years ago. And luckily, I think it came to an end. I'm going to reference my grandma, who's incredible, my ma. If you're listening to this, I doubt that you are, but if you are, just know that I love you a lot. And I really did enjoy this game. It just took a really long time. But one year, years and years ago, we had family Christmas. We would have family Christmas every Christmas Eve. And my grandma was just like, you know, let's spice it up a little bit. Let's do Dirty Santa or Yankee Swap or whatever you call it. I'd actually be very curious if there is a real difference between White Elephant, Dirty Santa, or Yankee Swap, but let me know. But whichever one you call it, that's what we did on Christmas Eve. And everybody loved it. I mean, like she could tell she was gleaming, you know, like everybody had so much fun. There were silly gifts. I remember being a kid and somebody got that gift where it's like a flower, but then you open it and it turns into like a pair of panties or something like that. It was a little inappropriate for kids to be there, but it was fun. Everybody had a great time and they laughed. But it obviously, the power, the joy of that moment might have gotten to my sweet ma's head there that night. Because the next year, that lady had some cornhole boards. You ready for this? There were some cornhole boards there. And the game had just evolved in a way that we had no idea what was coming. So my grandma got a hold of some cornhole boards, and obviously in that year, learned what cornhole was. And now there was still Dirty Santa, Yankee Swap, White Elephant, whatever you want to call it. But we had to play cornhole against another random family member in order to pick a present to go. Now, obviously, I know what you're thinking. It was a little bit longer, not too much longer, right? We weren't playing the 21. We were just playing one round, right? I found out that some of my family was really good at cornhole, so it did go a little bit, but it wasn't the craziest thing, right? People were like, it's kind of like when you can see something going south, but it's not there yet, and so you're like, all right, okay, let's. This is all right. We're okay still. So we introduced cornhole to this game. Took a little bit longer, but we got through it and ultimately got to the rest of the night, the presents, all that good stuff. So cornhole gets introduced, right? Takes a little bit longer. The next year, wouldn't you know it, we got bingo cards. Now, let me answer a question. Let me answer something you're thinking right now. You're thinking, oh, you got bingo cards in place of cornhole. No. Not at all. We got bingo cards in addition to cornhole and Dirty Santa's, White Elephant, whatever. So here's how this game went. And you can imagine the time that it took. We had to play a round of bingo in order to get selected to play cornhole. So we had to go through a whole round. Somebody would finally get bingo. They would wait for the next person to get bingo, and then they can play cornhole, and then they can select a present. When I tell you that we were there for hours on hours, I am kidding you not. Like Santa skipped over our house that year. He just didn't have time for it, you know? It was the longest game I've ever played, and as much as I love my mom and love my family, I have never played again since. There's got to be something better out there. And hey, maybe if you play a crazy game for Christmas, let me know. Shoot me a DM and on the social medias or reach out to me. I want to know about it. We can post about it. Maybe we'll talk about it on a future episode. But those are some of the crazy stories that we had sent in for Christmas. Here's what I would love to say. As we're getting towards the end of the year, I want to say just a big thank you to everybody that has listened to this show. Here's what I know. I know that this is a crazy commitment for you to listen to, right? Especially an episode like this where there's not anybody interesting on here. It's just me blabbing, right? I don't even know if 50% of what I've said on this, but like you've listened to this and I am so grateful. I get that this is a bigger commitment than just popping on a 3-minute song. And there's a lot of really great artists, even great artists that we've interviewed. Shout out Chase Wagner, shout out Eric Hughes. Shout out Ja David. All of those are great people you should listen to this holiday season. But, it's a commitment. Some of these episodes have gone 30 minutes, 45, an hour, and I'm very grateful for everyone who has joined in and been a part of the show. We're really just getting started. In this year, we launched this show early September-ish, and as of the date that I'm recording this, we have surpassed 1,000 listeners, which is crazy. Like, and I get that. There's podcasts out there that are millions upon millions, and that's awesome, But I'm just very proud of what we've been able to build here in just a short amount of time with people listening. That honestly is an honor to me, and I'm super thankful. At the beginning of this year, I've said this on a couple shows, but my goal for the year was, hey, I just want to launch this thing. I've had this dream. Want to launch this podcast, want to figure out how to make it possible. And we did it, it's gone out. We're on, when this comes out, maybe episode 16, 17 or so. And we are just getting started. I have a lot of really incredible guests that we've already recorded some, and some are planned out for January that will be releasing in the new year. I'm really excited for you to hear them. My heart, and I've said this on a couple shows again, is, I think that there's a lot of unique people here in Lakeland where I live and beyond, which, spoiler alert, we're going to start interviewing a lot more people kind of beyond the Lakeland area and stuff in the new year. But there's a lot of people to learn from. There's a lot of people to gain from their life experiences and from who they are, whether it's you're learning a lot on the show or whether you're just having a good laugh. I hope it's a little bit of both. I hope it's a good mixture. And man, I'm just excited for what we're going to continue to do in this new year. have some fun plans to continue to grow. And my hope would be that this would be something you enjoy enough to say, hey, I'm going to send this to my friend. Share this to a friend. Send them the Spotify page. Send them the Apple podcast. Shoot it to them on, social medias, whatever. And the biggest Christmas present you could give me is just rating the show, whether it's 3 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars, or if it's 2 stars or 1 stars, whatever. Be honest. I love it. Rating the show, subscribing, being a part of what's going on here, because I think that we're just getting cracked into something special. And so the goal for next year, how do we continue to get this thing growing? Man, it's just continuing you incredible people who are listening, and very grateful for it. I think that's it. I hope wherever you're at this year, I hope you have a really great holidays. There will be no episode next week. End of the year, going to spend some time with my family up in Pennsylvania, be close to my family, and I hope you do the same. We will be back on January the 6th with 2 really incredible guests at the same time, which I'm excited to share with you guys. But join us on January the 6th in the new year, 2025, for more of what we're doing here on the One More Minute podcast. Looking forward to seeing you next year.